Well, family, the provincial government said no to our fight to abolish anti Black racism in Canada. So we took our fight to the federal government. And so we headed to Ottawa, which for my brothers and sisters is the capital city of Canada. And that's where Parliament Hill is. And we had our petition read in the House of Commons there by NDP Gord Johns. So before we go any further, take a look at the reading of our petition with our specific demands, followed by the speakers that spoke at our peaceful demonstration that took place afterwards on the Parliament Hill grounds. And then we'll talk about it further. Take a look.
Courtney Alberni.
Mr. Speaker, I'm privileged to rise today to table e-petition 6484, which was initiated by Black People United for Change, who are in Ottawa today. These Canadians and petitioners are calling on the government to take urgent action to confront anti-Black racism. The petitioners highlight the long history of systemic racism in this country, and they point to historic injustices as well as recent tragedies and hate crimes as evidence of the urgent need for change. The petitioners call on the government to issue a formal apology and acknowledge the historical and ongoing injustices experienced by Black Canadians, to enact comprehensive legislation addressing anti-Black racism, including hate crime protections and institutional accountability measures. And Mr. Speaker, to put in place policies to dismantle systemic discrimination and ensure safety, dignity, and equal opportunity for Black Canadians. Thank you.
Our history in Canada as a Black people started off with Harriet Tubman bringing us to Canada, seeking refuge and escape from the shackles and the chains of the plantations. I'm not going to say that Harriet Tubman made a poor judgment. She was a very smart lady. Instead, we stepped into a different kind of slavery. Slavery through segregation, slavery through discrimination, slavery through being exploited for our labor, our ingenuity, you know? And here we are, hundreds of years later, and the problem has yet to be resolved. Statistics Canada and many other research have proven that racism exists and is very prevalent in Canada. But as G.I. Joe says, knowing is half the battle. It's what's going to be done about it. What's going to be done about the police taking out their aggression on Black people, youth in particular, because they know they're not going to be held accountable? What's going to happen to Black employees that walk into a cafeteria and are told, hey, slavery ended a long time ago, get over it? They can say it because they know they're not going to be held accountable. The LGBTQ community, the Human Rights Act was rewritten and revamped to protect them from being slandered against and homophobia. Our Indigenous community in Canada, they also have now full protection through the Human Rights Act. The Jewish community as well is another marginalized group in Canada. And there are laws to protect them from anti-Semitism. Where is our laws? We face segregation. We continue to face racism, hate speech, and all kinds of atrocities. Yet the government of Canada has never made any effort to not just say, yes, we know it exists, but to dismantle it and protect Black Canadians.
In 2020, May 27, I made a wellness check call. And the police actually came into my house and threw my daughter 24 flights off the balcony. And the SIU cleared them. She's the girl who died here in Canada 2 days after George Floyd was brutally murdered in the United States. So I've been doing this fight for a while, for 4.5 years, okay? And this is what it seems like it's coming out to be. I've been asking people to come out here and support us. because this is what we need. You got to stop waiting until this stuff hits your house. Okay, like I'm being serious, because as soon as it hits somebody's house, we're the ones getting phone calls. Then people will come out and stand with us. This is not going away unless we do something about it as the people. It breaks my heart for me to be standing up here today, okay? Look at them. Look, any of these guys out here, I actually even got to speak to Justin Trudeau face to face. I told him about this. We've been here many of times. They have never come out. Never. They do not support us. Okay? Look at what the police are doing to our children. Shame. Yeah, it is a shame. Like, we are losing our children one by one, every single day. Shame. And no one's doing nothing. We need these guys to come out and stand with us, because we can run our mouth all we want. We need people from office, people from government to come out here and stand with us, because that's how we make the change.
According to my own research, Canada is losing 1.8 billion every year due to systemic racism, because when we don't have employment equity, in other words, professionals who come from outside of this country who have made Canada a home, they're being discriminated against because they are foreign trained professionals. I am from Africa. I represent people of Yoruba people from Africa. And there's many communities in our country who could start to benefit from full economic participation, but they've been discriminated against either because, for whatever reasons. But the reason we've all come to agree with is that there is a systemic racism going on in this country, and the best way for us to deal with them is to start empowering our marginalized community to be able to participate fully in the economy, to be able to participate in educational systems that don't discriminate against them, but that welcome them. Because Canada, diversity is what makes us great. Because diversity is the way to go.
I am particularly concentrating on students' affordable housing.
Yeah.
Where we sleep, it would interest you to know the students would move, going for viewing to see what is going on. If the place that I booked, I like it so much, you go, you knock, they'll come out to see you and tell you, sorry, I have no room for you. Is this fair?
No.
This is not fairness. And that's what we are preaching against. Unaffordable housing has been defined in several ways, where we have to use the monies that we have to eat, what we have to buy our books, we have to use it for rent, just to get a cover on our heads. And this is what we are speaking against. The black must be treated fair. We must be treated fair and feel it. Consider this. Our tuition fee is gradually becoming the rivalry of housing, because the amount we pay for housing for 1 year is almost equivalent to the tuition that we are paying. Is this what we call fairness?
This is a vital petition, and it matters. It calls for action to create laws that do not just acknowledge anti-Black racism, but actively dismantle it, to ensure that the rights, safety, and lives of Black people are not dependent on their socioeconomic status, who is in power, or in the discretion of a police officer at any given moment. The Justice for Abdul Abdi Coalition fully supports all three demands outlined in this petition, and we urge members of Parliament across all parties to stand on the right side of history. Support this call. Commit to legislating change and ensure that the lives of Black Canadians are not dispensable. And to the public, we ask you to keep the pressure on, keep signing petitions, write to your local MPs, share the names and stories of those lost, and demand more than words from your leaders. Real change only comes when communities focus and accept, do not focus and refuse to accept the status quo. Abdulrahman Abdi deserved to live. Regis Korchinski-Paquette deserved to live. DeAndre Campbell deserved to live. Orlando Brown deserved to live. Andrew Loku deserved to live. Jermaine Carby deserved to live. So many others deserve to live, and yet they are not here with us. As a coalition, we would like to thank you all for your support here today, and we thank you. Black Lives Matter.
My name is Jeff Bradley, and I'm a part-time criminology professor at the University of Ottawa in Carleton, and I co-founded the Ottawa Transformative Justice Collective, which is a grassroots group working to promote healing justice and community accountability. So exactly what we're doing here. I stand here today to call for an end to all forms of racism and discrimination, but especially anti-Black racism, which continues to devastate lives and communities across the country. In Canada, we're seeing a dangerous rise in hate, far-right extremism, and the deepening impacts of these systemic inequities. We must stand shoulder to shoulder with Black communities to say enough. Enough of the police violence, enough of the racial disparities in the justice system, whether the courts or in the jails, enough of the barriers to good jobs, housing, and opportunities, and enough of denying people of their fundamental human rights. The uprising in the summer of 2020 after the public lynching of George Floyd was a powerful movement, but it was not just a moment. It was a social movement, and it still is. We are still here, demanding justice for Black lives. Since then, the world has been shaken by the pandemic, economic collapse, and growing social crises. But through it all, one truth remains: Black lives matter, and also the ongoing forms of slavery that still happen today in our prison system, and through exploitative work for our migrant workers and immigrants. But gatherings like today remind us that change is possible when we come together. Racism was actually constructed to divide, to instill fear, and to justify violence.
Addressing the multiple issues that we, as a Black community, as a Black diaspora, we face in this country. And one of them being not having an anti-Black hate bill that can and will protect us when we face brutalization, dehumanization, discrimination on all levels. I want to speak specifically to the members of our community. If we don't unify amongst ourselves, then how are we going to get anything done, or how are we going to get anything passed? We got to come together as a people. We gotta work together. We gotta unify. We gotta unite. Bob Marley said in his song, Redemption Song, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. None but ourselves can free our minds." But so many of us, countless members of our community, are still mentally enslaved. We are buck broken. We are mentally buck broken. We don't love one another. We don't fight for one another. We'll be quick to tear each other down and then acquiesce to the masses and play their game. We need to come together as a people. If we want this bill to come through for us as a people, it's got to be more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people. We need everyone to come together and work together. Because if we stand as a people, if we stand as a community, as we stand as a diaspora, no matter what part of the Black diaspora we're from, we need to learn our history. We are melanated people, and we need to come together and unify and fight, so when we stand up and we go up against these kind of governments that keep denying us, keep rejecting us, keep dehumanizing us, keep brutalizing us, keep niggifying us. Yes. And we do it to ourselves. Yes. If we could put all that nonsense away and say, yeah, okay, we're gonna fight together. Because we hear about the elite all the time, and this is what they want. This is what they see when we are fighting and divided amongst each other, and we're fighting and divided within ourselves, right? And then they see us fighting each other, killing each other, putting each other down, right? I'm talking to the Black community again. They see us fighting each other and killing each other, and they say, yeah, well, why would we want to give them a hate crime bill when they turn around and hate themselves? The contradictions and the hypocrisies. So Black people, in Canada. Let's unite, come together so we can get this bill passed. Come on, black people. I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, just like a river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Peace and love, y'all.
Believe me, you guys, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Also want to thank Gord Johns for reading our petition, for being our sponsor here, and for submitting it. That is huge. That is huge. The word of the day today that I've heard from everybody is unity. And that is the most important thing that has to happen in our community. So I am imploring our community to unify. We need that. Without unification, we'll just keep dividing and keep falling. So that is my word of the day. Unity. Everybody say it.
Unity!
One more time.
Unity!
Even louder.
Unity!
That's great.
So having this petition read in the House of Commons on Parliament Hill is a pretty big deal, but there's still so much work to be done. Trust me. So here's the process. We have to wait 60 days for a response. And then based on that response, we'll decide, where we go from there. But it was nice to have these people in attendance. And as you can hear from the speakers, everybody's very passionate about this. And, one of the main things, as you heard me say at the end, is unity. And that's the one major gap in our community. And it was evidence of such because there were about 50 people, I would say, between 50 and 60 people in attendance at this demonstration. However, the more, or I would say the majority of people that were there were not black. There were indigenous people there. There were even people from the Palestine that came to support us. But there was not a lot of black people there. And that was the most disappointing thing because, like Carlos said towards the end, is that we need to unify. And that is, like I said, the major problem in our community is lack of unification. And, if you think about it, if it were a concert, I don't know, say Beyonce was in town, people would spend money and they would go to Ottawa. It doesn't matter where they live. I mean, we drove 6.5 hours each way. We spent more time on the road than we did in Ottawa, but it was important to us. So we made sure that we were up at the crack of dawn and on that road. And let me tell you, it was exhausting. It was not easy at all, but it was worth it because our community is worth it. And our community and the safety of our community is important. The safety of our black youth is important. So this petition and this fight for those key items that we talk about in our petition was worth it. But it doesn't seem to be worth it to a lot of the black community. And again, we can't use where it was as an example because one of the gentlemen came from Vancouver and he had his suitcase. He wheeled his whole suitcase over because he was leaving to go back to the airport to go back home. But he made the effort and he's from Nigeria. So there's no excuse as far as I'm concerned that there should have been the majority black at this demonstration. And that is very disappointing by our community, but also not a surprise. And like Carlos said, if we can't unify, then why would anybody care about our fight for anti-black racism to be acknowledged and for there to be an anti-black hate crime bill? But nevertheless, we're waiting for 60 days. We're waiting for what they come back with. We're going to continue to build a coalition of people that actually do care about our community and do care about ending or at least acknowledging and abolishing and addressing and implementing a bill like other groups of people are protected. As Vanessa St. Louis said in the beginning, who happens to be the CEO of Black People United for Change. I am the director and signing officer. So what she said as well is super important. What all of the speakers said. The sister who was talking about her daughter that was thrown off a building by police. So there are a lot of people that should have been in attendance. There are a lot of people that can relate to everything that we're demanding. But nevertheless, they chose not to, similar to the first demonstration we had in April at the Legislative Assembly in Toronto. As I said, nevertheless, it's not going to stop us. This is another hurdle, but there's still plenty of work to be done. This is another small accomplishment. So I will keep you all posted. We will see how it plays out, and then we will take it from there. But I will tell you this, we're not going to stop fighting. We are not going to stop fighting here in Canada. And those who are interested in being a part of this, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to continue to build out this coalition and keep this fight going. Because again, we are all we have. Our Black lives matter. And we're not going to allow this hate to continue to happen when you have all of these malicious groups and white extremists marching around in numbers. And when you have, for example, the rally that took place on September 13th by the folks who were saying that they want to take Canada back. And by the way, there were Black people that attended that one, but they didn't attend the one that is pertaining to their life. Yet they think that by going and marching alongside the folks, that will protect them. Wrong, delusional, just as delusional as the folks who are marching around saying they want to take Canada back, okay? But I digress. Let me get back to it. All of those people who are interested in joining us and building out this coalition to keep this fight going, please reach out to us. Link will be below in the comment section, and we will keep this fight going, okay? But I would love to thank the people who did show up and turn out and came from the highways, byways, planes, trains, and automobiles to come and support this cause. And we will keep you all posted. In the meantime, let me know what you think about this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content. Don't forget to download the African Diaspora News app from your Google or Apple store. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Emma Ansah Unfiltered. Until next time, please be safe.